Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Diane Hochman Show here on the Home Business Radio Network, where we have positive, powered radio. I have a very, very, very special call for you tonight. I've never done anything like this. We'll see based upon tonight if I ever do anything like this again. But tonight I have my daughter, Jillian Hochman. Jillian, are you there?
I'm here.
Great. And we're going to talk about what it's like growing up with a mom who has a home business. So, Jill, this is what I want you to do tonight. I'm going to ask you some questions. We're going to have a lot of fun. And I want you to tell the truth, okay? But don't hurt my feelings. But I
can't promise anything.
Come on, be nice to your old mama. But, guys, when I started my home business 12 years ago, Jillian was 6 years old. Her sister was 3. And I wanted to stay home with them. It was very important to be home with the kids. And I had left my job when I was pregnant with my second daughter. You know, Jillian, now that she's older, she now understands that we had run up a lot of debt. We had a lot of credit card debt and all kinds of stuff. And so I was really trying to pay off the credit card debt and be home with the kids and try to make a better life for us. And, Jill, do you remember when you were little when I started my business? Do you remember what it was like?
I do remember. I actually remember the day you started. I wrote about it in my first grade journal.
Did you really? I don't even remember that.
I did. I wrote about it in my first grade journal. It was great having you home. You were always there when we needed something. You could always be at school, like for field trips or whatever. And it was cool because when everybody else's parents were at work or whatever and they had to go to the daycare after school, I got to come home and hang out with my mom.
Yeah, you didn't mind those after-school snacks and good stuff, did you now?
No. Still like them.
Yeah, you still like them, actually. Jillian's a freshman in college, and I will tell you that she definitely still likes some snacks now and again. So, Jill, I know in the beginning, Mom and Dad were spending a lot of weekends where we were traveling. You guys actually used to go to your grandparents while we were going to different meetings. What was that like for you every time we'd go to a meeting? Did you like having that time with your grandparents? Did it bug you that we were away? What did that feel like? Because a lot of moms are worried about going to a Super Saturday or an event and leaving their children. What was that like?
I liked it. I don't think I really grasped the concept of you were going to big meetings and stuff. I just knew that you were going to be gone for the day or a couple days or whatever, but I didn't mind. Whenever I actually got to go to them, it was really fun.
Yeah. Now, guys, just on a sidebar, just so you know, Jillian actually got to attend some different meetings. She's actually gotten to meet Jim Rohn, right? Do you remember meeting Jim Rohn?
Yeah, I did. Oh, I loved him. He was so cool.
Yeah, and at the time, you didn't even know who you were meeting to a large extent. You knew that I listened to tapes of him. But
I used to listen to him, too.
Yep, yes, you did. Mm-hmm. And then also she got to go to a very big event down in Atlanta for the company I was with. It was their big anniversary, and there were people from all over the world, so she got to meet all different people. What was that like going to Atlanta to a huge, I mean, guys, we were in the Georgia Dome. This was a 30,000-person event. It was huge. What was that like for you? In fact, Jillian even got to go watch Elton John perform that night.
Yeah, I saw Elton John. He was wearing a dress. It was being in an event that large. I want to say it was 11 maybe. That event, there was just amazing energy and people were so excited, and I could see that it was this business and all they were doing was making a huge difference in their lives, and they were just having a great time, and it was fun. I loved it.
That's cool. Now let's talk a little bit about how over the years we've incorporated the family into the business. When you guys were little, you used to do different jobs for me. I remember I had you stamp booklets and different things. And you also learned, a lot of people are worried about, what do I do when my kids are crying or if I'm on the phone or this isn't happens. Tell everybody about how we kind of, even to this day, still have kind of hand signals. You know if the door is shut, to enter very quietly, and you know how to kind of give me certain signs in order to find out whether it's okay to say something or not. Just explain to everybody what it's like when and I'm in the room, in my office. What is that like for you?
You're always on the phone, which isn't a bad thing, but we do have to try to be a bit more quiet, and if we need you, don't don't bother you unless it's a big deal or whatever, because we know what you're doing is important and, like, this is your job. But, yeah, sometimes, every once in a while, like, we'll forget you're doing something important and, like, be running around and yelling or doing whatever. And it's like, wait.
I'm laughing because I have a whole bunch of videos where I'm upstairs shooting a video in the office, a training video, and then you can hear screaming downstairs.
Yep.
You and your sister are having a fight, and you forgot that I'm upstairs working, and it was like screaming. And you know, I don't edit the videos. I don't cut it out because that's part of the reality of having a home business around your family. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. So, Jill, you're 18 years old. You're a college freshman. You've lived all these years with a mom who is running a business. What would you say to you, what were the best parts? Give me, like, the top 3 things that were great about having me at home and working from home.
I'd say the fact that you were home, and like I said before, the fact that I always had you around when I needed you. You were there to help me with my homework. You were there to make dinner every night. Then we got to go a lot of cool places. And like you said, Atlanta. We went to all, like, Boston, New York, all different places. We just went to Mexico. That was awesome.
Right.
And
Jillian just got to go on a top-of-the-line cruise, which is one of the awards I got for some top sales, and it was winter break time, so Jillian being a college woman, it was perfect for her, so that was a ball.
That was awesome. And the people that I've met through this, they're some of the most amazing people. I love them all.
Mm. Now, Jill, what would you say are the 3 things that kind of stank that maybe you wished were a little different or that you could change? And it's okay to, just to be truthful.
There were times when you were traveling or you were traveling a lot, and I wouldn't be happy because you weren't there, even though all the other times you were. But sometimes you'd be gone every other weekend, or you'd be gone for a week or so, and it would just be hard because things wouldn't be the same, and I wanted you to come home, or I missed you, or I needed you for something. And
now, let me clarify to the listeners, that mostly happened when you guys were older. When you guys were little, I wasn't traveling nearly as much, but when the kids got into their, into their teens and later teens, everything was a little bit more self-sufficient. My husband also, is home quite a lot, so, so the traveling did happen when you were older, not when you were really little. But, I agree. Sometimes it was hard. I would miss you guys badly. Yeah,
no, we could take care of ourselves and everything like that, but we like it when Mom takes care of us. And just sometimes I'm a bit of an attention seeker here and there. So sometimes you'll be busy doing something and, like, I want to, like, talk or do something, and you can't because you're doing your job, and I forget sometimes. But it's all right. And the fact that you're so much more famous than me, seriously. Seriously, I'm incredibly charming and beautiful, and yet for some reason everybody likes you better.
Tell them about the story about the time when your friend Courtney came to school with her iPod and what was on it. This was several years ago. Tell them
my friend Courtney, she's an interesting girl. And so one day she comes to school with her iPod, and this was like in like the 6th or 7th grade or something, when iPods were the cool thing to have. And she had videos, and she shows me her iPod, and it's full of videos of Diane Hochman. And I'm like, what are you doing? She goes, I was learning so much from her. She's really good. I'm like, okay, that's weird.
So Jill came home after school that day, and she's like, Mom! And I'm like, what? And she goes, those videos you're making on YouTube, because this is when YouTube was pretty new. She goes, Courtney has them on her iPod. And Jill looked at me like, I'm going to kill you. So embarrassed by it. That's what social media will do for you. You've had other friends that also have come across me on the internet and stuff, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, my friends love you. And, like, anytime they, like, find you on the internet or, like, find your stuff, they're like, oh, my God, she's so good and she's amazing. And, like, it's nice. Like you have your whole little, like, secret, like, superhero life. Like your alter ego.
Maybe that's really what it is, Jill. I think you just boiled it down. It's like I have my regular life at home where I'm taking care of the family and cooking dinner, and Jillian loves when she comes home and there's a great, chicken in the oven or something like that, and doing stuff for the family. And then I have this other wonderful online life where I get to, I don't know, whatever it is that I do, but it's a lot of fun. So for me, it's been a real outlet, but at the same time, I get to fulfill my constant urge to be a mother and to be with my children. I got to do the best of both worlds, I think. Jill, if you were talking to a mom who has little kids today that's just getting started in the home business, is there any advice you'd give to her about, how to handle their kids, especially about, I remember a lot of times we had conversations where you'd be mad at me because I was busy, but it would be very easy to forget the fact that I was always there. And then when you would remember, gee, my mom's home every day when I get home, instead of getting home at 7 o'clock at night with a bucket of chicken, it calmed you down. So is there any advice you'd give to a young mom with young kids that's looking at doing this for the long run?
I would say get the kids involved. Find a way to include them somehow so it doesn't feel like mom's sitting in another room talking on the phone and typing on the computer all the time. Help them understand that what you're doing is a business and that it's important and it's their job, and because of this, they don't have to go away and leave you alone for a long time. But just have them help you, give them little chores that they can do, and keep them involved, keep them active, and just explain to them. Don't say mom has to go on the phone now. Say what you're doing and say how you're making a difference.
So believe in the kids. Believe that they can understand this. Mm.
Yeah, your kids are smarter than you think.
Mm. I think it's important for parents to hear that the kids are smart and they do understand. And the other thing that we did, and I'm sure, Jillian, you can give some insight into this, is we'd also have rewards and things. Like if mom did this or we worked hard on this as a family, or if everybody was really good so that mom could focus, we'd go to Chuck E. Cheese or something, back when you were younger. But now it's vacations and trips and wonderful things that we get to do. What was that like for you? Did you enjoy having these challenges so that we could hit them as a family?
Yeah. It was, when I was little, I didn't get it as much, but as I got older, and especially now, I understand that what you're doing is so we can do all these incredible things. So we can go to Mexico, so we can go to London, so we can go to Sydney, so we can make a better life, so I can pay for college. That's the whole point. It's not that you're just sitting in your room. It's we're doing this to earn something. You can't just get things for nothing, so we're earning it.
And then last but not least, because we're running out of time here now, Jill, well, first of all, I want to thank you, now that you're a woman. I want to thank you for all your help over the years. I wouldn't have been able to do this without you and your sister and, of course, Dad. I wouldn't have been able to do any of it, and you guys were instrumental in the success that I've had. And I want to hear – I'm sorry, go ahead.
Kind of wouldn't be alive without you, so thanks to you, too.
Yeah, well, that giving birth thing is always, is always a good thing.
Yeah.
But any last words or anything else that you'd say to somebody that's, deep in the home business and dealing with their kids?
Just keep going and just tell them what's going on, and they'll appreciate it. They might not always get it then, but when they look back and realize that their parent was home with them and they were able to help them and do incredible things that all the other kids don't get to do, they'll really appreciate it.
Wonderful. Well, hey, everybody, this has been the Diane Hochman Show. I'm here with my daughter, Jillian Hochman, on the Home Business Radio Network. Positive, powered radio.